portion of this season with a quad injury. And today, the Yankees face a left-hander in Brian Talent, making his 21st start.
And Talent takes his 5-9 record and .517 earned run average to the mound to make his third start this year against the Yankees. He's 0-1 with an ERA right at 3. He lost the last time he took the mound. That was Tuesday at Texas when he went 5 innings, giving up 4 runs as the Jays lost that game 5-2. The scouting report for the tall left-hander, he's got the fastball, the cutter, and the changeup. And I think he needs to get the Yankee batters to bite on that changeup. It's such an effective pitch for him when he's throwing it for strikes. And he's better versus right-handers. Righties hitting just .245 against Talent. Lefties all the way up to .291.
Derek Jeter leads off for the Yankees as Talent deals the opening pitch, and it's time to play some baseball today at the Rogers Center. Thank you so much for joining us as the first one is fouled back 0-1 on Jeter, who's right up there with the league leaders in average at .330. He is and has been a hits machine in his career. And in his last 24 games, Jeter is batting a sizzling .414 as he swings and misses and falls behind 0-2. Right away, we present a Rogers Fast Fact, and it's brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. And Derek Jeter is now just 6 hits behind Lou Gehrig's all-time Yankee record. He figures to match and perhaps pass the Iron Horse in the upcoming Yankee homestand, because now he's only 5 away as he puts that one in center field, a leadoff single.
Not a good 0-2 pitch from Brian Talent. It was a changeup, and he got him to swing at it, but it caught too much of the plate with 2 strikes. Barajas will set up down and away, and Jeter for years has caught that pitch. Hard to believe, as we are updating the hits, with all of the great players and hitters the Yankees have had, they have never had a batter with 3,000 hits.
Isn't that something? As Johnny Damon takes strike 1. It's a great point, too. Now, Derek Jeter, barring a major career-ending injury, will get there.
Yeah, he'll get there sometime, beginning of the 2011 season.
And Talent gets ahead of Damon 0-2. Jeter's being held on there by Randy Ruiz, who plays in the field for the first time in his major league career. Not a great lead for Jeter, with the left-hander working. The pitch is inside to Damon, and it's 1-2.
Talent faced this Yankee team back in July and threw 6 innings and gave up just 2 earned runs in a game the Blue Jays eventually lost 4-2. It was a quality start. And the problem he had in that game, he had 4 base on balls, and that's something that we've been talking about a lot lately.
Lots of base on balls means lots of pitches, often means short outings, and means taxing the bullpen. It all seems to string itself together in the end, as that one is a swing and a miss, and Damon goes down on strikes.
That might have been one of those sidearm cutters that Talent will throw against left-handers to pick up his first strikeout. Here's how they will line up defensively. Snyder is now in left field today. Travis Snyder, he will flip-flop with Joe England in the outfield, who will start in right field. Rob Barajas, with a day off yesterday, will be behind the plate to catch Talent. And you saw the player first base, and you mentioned it. Randy Ruiz will get the start at first base, not just for the first time this year, Jamie.
First time ever at this level. And there are reasons for it. Kevin Millar's not hitting. Lyle Overbay's got a minor finger injury. As Teixeira pops this one up. Here is Ruiz, and he makes the catch right at the TD Canada Trust comfort zone. He's not looking out of place.
No, he's an athletic guy for as big as he is. Watch him go over to the stands. He's got to find the stands right away. Anytime you have a chance to get a Yankee batter out, you got to take advantage of it. Ruiz makes a nice play right in front of the stands.
And especially Mark Teixeira, who leads the American League in runs driven in. So Jeter's still stuck at first. Now 2 gone. And the number 4 hitter for the Yankees today is Hideki Matsui.
There is a reason why Hideki Matsui is in the cleanup spot this afternoon.
And that reason is
his success against Brian Talent, which is off the charts.
You got some numbers? As Talent agrees with the 1-0 call from Rod Barajas. Here comes the pitch, and it's lined to right field, a base hit. That one falls in front of Joe Inglet. And the success for Matsui against Talent continues.
Yeah, just 7 for 14 coming into this game with a couple of doubles, a triple, a home run, 4 RBIs, not wasting any time. He's very quiet at the plate, but he's got very good hands, quick bat. Picks up the base hit his first time up.
Did you say just 7 for 14?
Just 7 for 14.
Talent's given up a pair of hits and now faces Nick Swisher, the switch hitting right fielder. There goes Jeter from second. He's on his way without a challenge and manages to steal his 24th base of the year.
He is such a heads-up ball player. I'm sure he's watched Brian Talent in the past. Watch the jump he gets. One look by Brian Talent, no throw from Barajas. Nobody moves in the infield except Jeter as he steals the base. Just a heads-up play and very aware of what's going on in the game.
2 out, top of the first, and there are so many more ways to score from third than from second.
Puts a little extra pressure on the catcher, on a ball in the dirt now, on the infielder if they've got to make the play over to first base. They know if it's not perfect, a run is going to score now.
Two strikes on Swisher. And runners on the corners with Jeter having stolen third. Matsui with the single over at first. Swisher braced for the 0-2 as Talent comes set. And that pitch inside.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday at the beginning of the ball game about how you have to be aggressive against the Yankees. No nibbling and no nitpicking. Brian Talent, I think, does a much better job at that. When he is ahead 0-2, he'll go right after hitter with a good idea, with that cut fastball that he has or that good changeup.
Big cut by Swisher, and Talent blows it right by him. Gets the strikeout and leaves 2. Leading off as always. He's managed only one hit in the series, but has reached base 7 times. That's Scudero's game. The number 7 hitter, Randy Ruiz, playing first base for the first time at the major league level. And perhaps the hottest hitter is right at the bottom, number 9, Joe Inglet, who's riding a 10-game hit streak that extends back to early August. He started that against the New York Yankees, who throw Sergio Mitre at the Blue Jays today.
This is his 8th start of the season, and although his ERA is a 6.65, the Yankees are 5-2 in his starts. Mitre last pitched last Saturday, allowing a hit over 6 1/3 innings before he left. Jamie, when he was hit with a line drive off of his forearm, left that game after 5 innings. Blue Jays beat Mitre the last time they saw him. That was at Yankee Stadium on August 10th when the Jays knocked him out after 5 innings, and they won that game 5-4.
In steps Marco Scudero, and he takes the pitch low, ball 1. That victory over Mitre on the 10th of August came immediately following a 4-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox by the Yankees. As that is rolled to third base, Hairston comes in, and the throw pulls Teixeira off the bag, and he collides with Scudero.
That could have been very dangerous for both Marco Scudero and Mark Teixeira. The throw from Hairston sails on him right into the path of the oncoming runner, and it looked like Marco Scudero got a knee right to his knee, and he goes down. Jerry Hairston will be charged with the throwing error. He made 10 errors in the National League when he was a member of the Cincinnati Reds. That's his 2nd since being traded over to the Yankees.
Scudero breaks on the first pitch, and there's a base hit to the corner by Aaron Hill. And now Scudero hustling for third, and he's waved home by Nick Leyva. Hairston no throw home, and the Blue Jays take an early lead.
The Yankees usually play very good defense, but so far the first 2 batters of this game, they have not shown it. You saw the error by Hairston, and now this double by Aaron Hill. Not wasting any time, he comes out swinging. Johnny Damon has trouble digging this one out of the corner. Bang, bounces a couple times, and then here's the key mistake. He overthrows his cutoff man, Derek Jeter, the shortstop. Marco Scudero was not going to score. You see him not going hard, but then when he sees that the throw is over Jeter, he is going to score without a throw from the relay team, and the Jays take a quick 1-0 lead.
And they take advantage of the error by Hairston as Adam Lind, the designated hitter, takes strike 1. Well, I mentioned it, Scudero only has 1 hit in this series, but he does a lot of damage simply by getting on. He's been on base 8 times now in the first 3 games.
And he made something happen by going on the first pitch. He was deked out a little bit at second base, thinking that there was going to be a play at second base, and he actually slid into the bag. But when Damon overthrew the first cutoff man, that allowed Scudero to score. He was going to be held by Nick Leyva. Leyva did a good job of reading the outfielder's throw and seeing that was going to be over the cutoff man, and he could score.
Here's a roller to first. Mitre covers. Lind is able to get Hill over to third.
And here is the rest of the defense. We've seen Hairston and we've seen Damon. Melky Cabrera with a fine throwing arm in center field, along with Swisher in the outfield. Jeter Cano up the middle. Hairston Jr. for the day off of A-Rod. Teixeira back at first base, and Molina, a good throwing catcher. Teixeira as a Gold Glove first baseman, and has really made an impact, I think, on the inner defense for the Yankees this year. They had trouble at first base last year when Giambi got most of the playing time there. But his presence at first base, digging balls out of the dirt, and he's played Gold Glove first base this year.
Rod Barajas steps in. And he's been on fire lately. Barajas has 5 home runs in his last 9 games. as the infield comes in, but he doesn't seem to mind. He rolls it right by Jeter and drives home Aaron Hill. The Blue Jays lead it now 2-0.
Mitre's only thrown a couple of outs past 9 innings against the Blue Jays, and they have 10 runs against him now in his 3 starts. When you have the infield in like this, doesn't take much to get it through there for an RBI single for Barajas. Were you surprised the Yankees in the first inning had the infield in?
A little bit. Yeah, the way they can mash the baseball.
Yeah.
And this is a very confident, as you know, a very confident Yankees team. They feel like they can score runs at will. And they've got the bats that can do it.
That's why I thought they would trade an out for a run in the first inning. Mitre throws a lot of ground ball outs, but that played right into the Blue Jay hands.
I wonder if they would have done that had they had someone like CC Sabathia on the hill today. As you look at the splits between home and road for Vernon Wells, this has been a head scratcher. He hits much better away from home than he does here at the Rogers Center. Hey, a quick note on Marcos Scutaro, who scored the first run. And by doing so, he is now the all-time leader among shortstops in Blue Jay history. 93 runs scored. Passes Tony Fernandez. As that one is sent to center field, and it drops for a base hit. Wells pushes Barajas into second base.
For as good as Sergio Mitre was his last time out, he is not getting off to a very good start here. Ball is not hit hard by Vernon Wells. It actually jams him, but he pushes it out into no man's land in right center field. No chance for Cabrera to come and get it, or Swisher, the right fielder, and Wells has a hit. Again, Mitre, his last time out was dazzling. That was against the Chicago White Sox when he gave up just 1 hit pitching into the 7th inning, and the only reason he didn't go further was A.J. Pierzynski lined the ball off of his arm, and they took him out for precautionary reasons.
And when the Blue Jays beat him on the 10th of August at Yankee Stadium, it was the game following New York's 4-game sweep over the Boston Red Sox. The headlines in the paper the next day after the Jays' victory said, "Bring back Boston." As Edwin Encarnacion takes ball 1 from Mitre. It's been a good start to this inning, and it began with Scutaro reaching on a throwing error by third baseman Hairston Jr. He scored after the double by Hill. Lynn pushed Hill to third on a ground out. And now consecutive singles by Barajas and by Wells, and in fact by Encarnacion, as Barajas is sent home. No throw from center field. 3-0 in favor of the Blue Jays as they jump on Sergio Mitre early.
That is good to see, some production out of third base, and then with Encarnacion hitting with runners in scoring position. Fastball count, and he gets it. Fastball out over the plate, and he hits it hard right back through the middle under the glove of Derek Jeter to score Barajas from second base. It's good to see the third baseman producing. We got a little spoiled with Scott Rowland.
We did too.
The first half of the season, and the numbers and the production that he put up at third base.
Encarnacion, just a 180 hitter in the 17 games he's played with the Blue Jays. Keeping in mind he spent a little bit of time on the disabled list. As Mitre has made 3 starts against the Jays in his time. Missed all of last year after Tommy John surgery. Here's a bouncer to Jeter, who gets it quickly to Cano, who fires to first, and they get the double play. So the inning comes to an end quickly, but it was a productive one for the Blue Jays, who scored 3 times on 4 hits and an error and take the advantage on the Yankees. $900 smartphone from Rogers at any wireless wave T-Booth retail location throughout Canada. Back at the ballpark today, it's the Blue Jays 3, the Yankees no score after 1 inning of play. And here is the sweet swinging Robinson Cano. Who leads all active big leaguers with a .350 career batting average in September. Ball 1.
Did not get any hits the first couple of nights in this series, then had a little session with Kevin Long, the hitting coach for the Yankees, and it must have paid off. He homered in yesterday's game.
In fact, Cano now has a career high 23 home runs in a single season, 10 of them against left-handed pitchers.
Left-handed pitching does not faze him. You just watch his approach and the way he goes about his business. Don Mattingly worked with him when he was a young hitter, and he's a lot like Mattingly, and he keeps his front shoulder in there. He can handle all kind of pitches that are thrown up there, and he has that ability to hit the ball, left-handers especially, to left center field. Good quick hands and a good quick swing.
The 2-2 is lifted into left field. Here is Snyder coming in, and he retires Cano. Jerry Hairston Jr. is announced as the batter, playing third base. One of 6 current big leaguers who've played all 3 outfield positions and all 4 infield positions in the big leagues at some point in their careers. That's a list that includes super utility guys like Willie Bloomquist of the Kansas City Royals, Adam Kennedy now with Oakland, Eric Bruntlit's on the list, Alfredo Amezaga, and Melvin Mora, and that one caught me by surprise. I didn't realize that Mora had played so many different positions.
When he was with the Mets, he was a super utility guy, and he actually came up as a shortstop Hairston playing today to give A-Rod a day off. They want to get him off the AstroTurf. You know, he's had that hip problem. Yankees also have a doubleheader tomorrow against Tampa Bay. So Joe Girardi has picked this series to give some of his regulars days off. We saw Teixeira yesterday, the designated hitter. Hideki Matsui had a day off. Joe Girardi is very good at getting his whole bench into play, using everybody and giving players days off when he feels like they need them.
Hairston muscles this ball out of play down the left field line. They've got a day-night doubleheader.
Right.
First game starts at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and then game 2's at 7. And here's Tampa Bay providing the opposition tomorrow for the Yankees, a team that is trying desperately to stay in this race, and they get CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett back-to-back in a single day. There's ball 3.
Grab a bat, right?
Yeah.
That should be fun. But they know that Tampa is trying to get into the playoffs, and they just want to distance themselves.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Jerry Hairston Jr. As Talent kicks and fires, here's the payoff, and it's taken foul. In his last start, Talent gave up a pair of home runs to Josh Hamilton. That was in game 2 of the doubleheader on Tuesday in Texas. He issues a walk to Hairston Jr. here with 1 out.
Just off the plate. You know, what Brian Talent has done this year has been pretty remarkable. And you say, well, look at his numbers and he's got a losing record. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about ping-ponging back and forth from the bullpen to the starting rotation. You don't know what that does to your arm if you are a reliever, even a long man out of the bullpen, and then you become a starter. When you are a starter, you get into a routine, and your arm is built up to pitch a long period of time.
This is bounced up the middle. Hill takes it, gives it to Scudero, who leaps, fires to first, and gets Cabrera. Call that one a very pretty double play. And it gets the Blue Jays and Talent out of the second inning.
Great footwork by Scudero around second base to get the double play.
Continues. To enter and find out more, please visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Welcome back as that ball ricochets seemingly off the foot of Bob Davidson. Ball one to Travis Snyder, who has scuffled a little bit since coming up from AAA in the 19 games since he was summoned, batting just 182. He faces Sergio Mitre. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mitre gives up 3 in the first inning to the Blue Jays. He's now allowed at least a run in the first inning in 6 of his last 8 starts.
First inning has been very troubling for Mitre, so it'll be interesting to watch him. His ERA is over 8 in the first inning.
As Cano drops the ball, an easy play, but Snyder is safe at first on the error to the second baseman.
Well, that certainly is not going to help. Just like the error by Hairston to start the first inning, Cano commits his 10th error on a very easy play. Takes his time a little bit too much, and he makes Mitre work now. Here's his scouting report: sinking action on his fastball. You see a lot of ground ball outs when he has that pitch to contact. Doesn't have a lot of strikeouts, doesn't have a lot of walks, and he's hard to get under. You were talking about home runs. It's going to be hard to get the ball in the air against Mitre because he gets a lot of ground ball outs. He faced 21 batters his last time out, had 14 ground ball outs.
Joe Inglet is the hitter now, and away back on August the 5th against these very Yankees, Inglet started a hit streak that's now 10 games in length. Now, mind you, it's a month-long streak because he's spent considerable time in Las Vegas near the end of August. But here's a 10-gamer that goes back to the 5th of August. And over that time, Inglet is hitting .382. Batting ninth for the Blue Jays today as Mitre throws over to check Snyder. So the Yankees now have committed a pair of errors in the game. Toronto took advantage of the first one, scoring 3 times an inning ago. And here's Snyder at first after the error charge to Cano. Swing and a miss from Inglet, and that evens the count 1-1. Left-handed hitters giving Mitre all kinds of trouble this year. Coming into this game, they're hitting at a .446 clip against him. The 1-1, and it's sent up the middle. A base hit for Inglet. He keeps it going. The hit streak now at 11 games.
You know, if you're a player like Joe Inglet and you bounce back and forth from the big leagues to the minor league, when you get your chance, you have to do something to help. And I think every time that Joe Inglet has played, he has done something to help the ball club. If it's playing the outfield, if it's playing different positions, if it's getting a big hit or a bunt or a stolen base or a pinch run, whatever, he does every little thing that Cito Gaston asks of him to help his ball club win a game. That time he keeps the inning going and a chance for a big inning by getting a hit after the error. And the inning is set up for a big inning now. 2 runners on, nobody out, and 3 really good hitters coming up.
And Pat, don't you feel as if and Jamie, you were there in spring training, the toughest decision Cito Gaston had to make was to send Joe Inglet back. And Joe Inglet sat down with him in the office. Cito Gaston said, hey, it's simply a matter of numbers. We love what you do. We love your versatility. But quite simply, we just can't fit you on the roster right now. And it's been a long time coming for Inglet to come up and play the way he did last year, proving he belongs here at the big league level.
You know what part of that comes into play is options also. Joe Inglet had another option left, so he had to go back down. But in his time that he has come up here, I'm telling you, he played left field the other day. They have him in right field today. He came up as a middle infielder. He's a left-hander off the bench. He can steal base if you need it.
Here's the 1-1 to Scutaro. He takes for strike 2. By no means did Inglet play himself out of a job at the end of spring, as Sam touched on. Simply a victim of numbers. But he's up for the rest of the year, standing at first. Snyder ahead of him at second base. 2 on and nobody out in the second inning as Mitre steps off the rubber. And Jose Molina says, I'm going to throw you a different set of signs. So on the 1-2. The pitch misses. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Scudero, who reached on an error and scored in the first inning. That's a strike. That is a called strike. And Marco Scudero, from this angle, Pat, he's got a pretty good claim. That looked well off the plate.
Mitre does not strike out a lot of batters, just 20 coming into this game. Tries to backdoor him with that fastball. Bob Davidson says it got plenty of the plate. So a big out right there by Mitre. Scudero did not think it was a strike.
Our camera shot from that angle might be a little skewed, but it looked as if Molina had to reach over the line there to grab that ball as it's flied to center field. Snyder tags, and he moves to third on a long fly ball by Aaron Hill.
Well, now it's going to take a 2-out hit by Adam Lind to get the runs in. What looked like and set up for a big inning. Mitre with the strikeout and then the long fly ball. It's going to take the best RBI man the Blue Jays have to cash a run. Look at the numbers that Lind has put up this year. Aaron Hill has now tied him in RBIs with that double in the first inning with 92.
Strike one. On Monday in Texas, Pat, it was funny. Rod Barajas had 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. And we refused his interview at the end of the game because this guy had 8 runs driven in. And I remember as we were setting up a post-game interview with Adam Lind, just getting things ready to go, I saw Barajas come in from behind him and lean in and say, "You're in my spot. You know, I'm the star of this game. I had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs."
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. 8 ribbies. Checks those 5 RBIs. A very simple approach at the plate. Find a fastball and hit it hard. Adam Lind has done that all season long. He's come up with big 2-out hits, big home runs.
Wave and a miss, and it's 2-2 with men at the corners. Here in the bottom of the second, you've got Joe Inglet standing over at first base. There's Snyder at third. And Mitre trying to work himself out of this little problem with a 2-2 pitch to Adam Lind. It's grounded to second, and Cano has the play to first, and that's it. The Blue Jays get 2 on and can't bring them in, but still maintain a 3-0 lead on the New York Yankees. the third inning of play here at the Rogers Center. The Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead. And we certainly thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and our Sportsnet.ca columnist and statistician Scott Carson is here. Watching Jose Molina catch for the Yankees today. Molina pops this one up. Hill can see it as he shades his eyes. Gets the out, and there's one down in the third inning.
We were talking the last time Brian Talent was out on the mound about going back and forth between pitching out of the bullpen and starting, and how that can really tax your arm. As a starter, you build up arm strength and you get into a routine. Your throwing routine is about the same. If you have to then go to the bullpen, you throw the same, but the way Brian Talent explains it, you're not throwing quite as much, but you're throwing in shorter bursts, meaning you come in and you throw hard for maybe three batters, 4 batters, whatever, an inning, and then you sit down and you might not get in for 3 more days. Whereas a starter, you get into a routine and you're every 5th day you're throwing, and your arm gets into that same routine. So he started the year as a reliever, went to pretty much the first week of the season, went right into the starting rotation, did a fine job, then went back to the bullpen, and now he's probably going to start the rest of the way this season.
Man, he really was thrown into this rotation on short notice because it was a game on the 13th of April in Minneapolis when Jesse Litch went down with his injury in the 4th inning. In fact, it was Talent who replaced him in that game and threw one pitch to get a strikeout, finish up an at-bat for Litch. As that ball is grounded, and it's ricocheted by Encarnacion. It goes off his glove and then evades Scudero as well. So Jeter is aboard.
Inching closer and closer to Lou Gehrig. Places this one just out of the reach of Encarnacion. Now, even if he does not deflect this ball, I do not think Marco Scudero would have been able to backhand the ball and throw out Jeter, who still runs really well.
So Jeter's now just 4 behind the Iron Horse. And the way things are going, Pat, he might just tie him tomorrow during that doubleheader.
He jammed his fingers the first day the Yankees were here at Rogers Center diving for a ball, then took Friday night off. That was probably a good thing because he didn't have to face Roy Halladay. A couple of hits yesterday and 2 already here today.
Some probably wish Jeter had played in that game because that means Ramiro Pena wouldn't have, and it was Pena who got the only hit of the ball game. As Damon slaps that foul. Talent's first real start as a member of the rotation came on April 18th against the Oakland A's here at the Rogers Center. Had a pretty good start too, went 5 1/3 against the Athletics as Damon fouls that one away as well.
I can relate to him when he talks about, you know, the aches and the pains and the bruises and the bangs of your arm when you start as opposed to relieving. When you would play the infield, or when I would play the infield, and the throwing motion was a little different, then you go to the outfield and it's a little bit more different. You're a little bit more on top. I understand what he's talking about the injuries.
Here's Barajas falling, throwing to first, pulling Ruiz off the bag. Damon is safe with an infield single. And so the bounces right here are going in the way of the Yankees with a couple of hits in the 3rd inning.
Johnny Damon could always run. Just nicks this ball out in front of home plate and then takes off. Barajas does a tremendous job just to get to the ball and get a throw off. Remember his angle that Barajas is throwing from with the runner in the baseline and the first baseman. Damon just outruns it for an infield single.
And it brings up Mark Teixeira. who popped out in foul territory for the second out of the first inning. Here's Talent with the pitch, and it's off the plate.
Brian Talent is going to really watch Derek Jeter now at second base. He gave him a couple looks that time. Stole third base easily in the first inning when he got out the second.
Pat, did you know that there are only 4 players in Major League Baseball right now who have at least 30 home runs and at least 30 doubles this year? You're looking at one of them in Teixeira. Ryan Howard is another. Albert Pujols another. Kendry Morales is the 4th. And you know who's 1 double away from joining that group?
Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill.
That's my guess. Is that right?
Good call.
I knew there had to be a connection there.
His double in the first was his 29th. He's already got 31 home runs. So Aaron could join a select group sometime today as Teixeira rips that foul.
A couple more home runs for Adam Lind, and he will join that group.
Well,
he is just a run producer, Mark Teixeira, from both sides of the plate. And we touched on it in the opening about the balance of home runs that the Yankees have hit this year. They lead all of baseball in home runs, but what I like is the balance. They have switch hitters, left-handed power, right-handed power, and you don't have a whole bunch of guys up here and a whole bunch of guys down here. They're all right in the 20, 25 home run range, except Teixeira, who's at 33.
Damon and Jeter on base. Top of 3. 1 out, Brian Talent, and the Blue Jays lead 3-0. Mark Teixeira at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Grounded right at Talent. He makes the pad save and throws out Teixeira.
Not sure where that ball hit him. I don't know if it was the knee or the shin or the ankle. We'll have to watch the replay again, but Teixeira covers this ball and hits it hard. Right off the left shin. Presence of mind to go up and bare-hand the ball. That's the key in that play. When you have a ball that's rolling on the ground like that, you have to pick it up with your bare hand. You try and pick that thing up with your glove, and you're not going to have time to get the runner. He's smiling. That's a good sign.
The Jays are getting smacked these days, Jays pitchers. Remember on Monday, Brett Cecil took a Josh Hamilton liner in his left thigh. And you could hear the thud throughout the ballpark in Arlington. This one off the shin.
There's not a lot of padding down there when a ball comes back that hard.
Even less padding when Talent's got his pants so high.
You're going to. That's going to take a couple days and leave a mark.
Well, he's able to erase Teixeira on the play. And so, Hideki Matsui, who's now 8 for 15 career against Talent, steps in. He singled in the first inning. When Talent made his second start of the year in Chicago, and the Blue Jays won 14-0. Remember back then they were hitting everything. His terrific quote at the end of the game with respect to being a starting pitcher for this club was, right now all the pitchers have to do is keep it within a touchdown. As Matsui lifts this one towards no man's land, and it drops a base hit. Jeter's in. Damon scores. 2 runs on the board for the Yankees. They cut the lead to 1. And you talked about Matsui and his numbers against talent. Even when he lifts one in the air, it falls in the right place.
Joe Girardi looks at those same numbers, and he knows what Matsui has done against Brian Talent, and he comes up with a clutch 2 out, 2 RBI single. Doesn't hit it hard, just puts it in the right spot. No chance for Lynn, Wells, or Scudero to run that one down. And with that base hit by Matsui, it pulls the Yankees to within 1.
That brings up Nick Swisher again, who struck out in the first inning. These Yankees are a major league best 36-12 since the All-Star break. They have really stretched their lead in the East, winning 9 of their last 11 games.
They have won series, a lot of series, 17 of their last 20 series also. And it all starts with good pitching. You have to have good pitching. It doesn't hurt that they're averaging about 6 runs a game.
Great shot there. The air show, the annual air show at the Canadian National Exhibition, is on display above us here at the Rogers Center. Down on the field, a 3-2 lead Toronto. A 3-1 pitch to Swisher. Catches the strike zone. I think I heard Bob Davidson earlier in the game with the Blue Jays up say something to Swisher on the bench. I think he felt that one of his players was getting squeezed.
Swisher fits right in with these Yankees. He's always been a high on base percentage type of player. Sees a lot of pitches, strikes out a lot, but produces. This is his 3rd team in 3 years, and he has produced for Oakland and the White Sox, and now with the Yankees. 23 home runs.
Matsui bolts from first. It's fouled back.
He has hit those 23 home runs in just over 400 at bats. He can play all 3 outfield positions also. Give Mark Teixeira some time off at first base. And he's a switch hitter.
I remember a scout suggesting before the season that now that he was a Yankee, now that he was going to play at a stadium with a very short porch in right field, he would become too much of a pull hitter. But he's really spread out his numbers quite nicely this year. Hit a ton of home runs on the road. And Swisher on 3-2. Lifts this one down the left field line, and this could be trouble. Snyder watches it drop in front of him, and now Matsui is waved home. Here comes the throw, and Matsui he's out at the plate, but
dropped the ball.
Dropped the ball.
Dropped the ball. The home plate umpire doesn't see it yet, and now he does.
Bob Davidson had called Matsui out. He didn't realize that the ball had squirted away. Watch the replay.
Ball bounces a couple times, and then Snyder's going to try and get him at the plate. Barajas applies the tag right here, and he is out, but it came out late. Blocked as he kicked that ball out of his glove. Matsui running with 2 outs. He's going to go on the crack of the bat. Doesn't run very well, but comes around to kick the ball out of the glove of Barajas. And the Yankees have tied it with another 2-out hit.
And they've tied it, Pat, on hits that are little bloopers and bleeders that are dropping in the right place at the right time. It's 3-3 now in the top of the third. Boy, when things are going well.
Yeah, it'll look like a line drive in the paper tomorrow.
Yes, it will. As Cano takes strike one.
Those flares have paid nicely. Snyder plays back on the ball. That spongy turf on day games like that makes the ball bounce a couple times, and he is going to be out, but the ball squirts out of his glove. By the time Brian Talent backs it up, Swisher standing on second base. Here comes Brian Talent backing up the play. Recovers the fumble and holds Swisher at second base.
Two strikes on Cano. Now a ball and two strikes. As the Blue Angels blast away overhead. There's the pitch, foul back. For those scoring at home, initially that hit by Swisher was scored as a single. They've since changed it to a double. As Cano hitting a robust .319. Having his best season power-wise. Awaits the 1-2. Here it comes. Now 2-2.
Yankees have had their way with left-handers. We talked about this yesterday. Their record versus lefties is very good at 32-14, but it's their batting average that's impressive against lefties. They are hitting nearly .300 as a team versus left-handed pitching this year. It helps to have all the switch hitters, Cabrera, Teixeira, Swisher, switch hitters that negate left-handed pitching.
There goes Cano. He had to back out as those jets flew past, and he is a strikeout victim here. And he leaves Swisher in scoring position. The Yankees score 3. We've got a tie ball game at the Rogers Center. cool nights in late September, early October.
Have you ever seen one of those?
No, I haven't.
They are really, really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. Your kids will love
10,000
them.
of them given away.
Your kids will love them. Come on down to the ballpark and get one. They are really nice.
The Mariners are in for a 4-game series. And in fact, that is the final series of the year here at the Rogers Center. Where, Pat, did the summer go?
Seems like we were just getting ready for the Detroit Tigers.
That's right.
And Justin Verlander, if you remember opening day.
Feels like we were just sitting out a rain delay in Cleveland, for goodness sakes. The first road trip of the year.
Yep.
And here we are in the early stages of September. The season is almost over. And Rod Barajas gives a souvenir to somebody out there in the shadows in left field. In the third, it's Barajas, Wells, and Encarnacion coming up for the Blue Jays. And we're tied at 3 now after the Yankees score 3 times in the top of the inning. That's grounded to third. Hairston. And his throw is right on the money at first to get Barajas.
That'll make things a little bit easier for Sergio Mitre. First 2 innings of this ball game, the infielders have let him down with errors, and he's had to pitch out of the stretch. Each time getting ground balls that the infielders kicked around, and Jays scored 3 in the first and had a golden opportunity in the second inning to put some runs on the board.
There's Wells popping it up, short right field. Swisher comes in. He's out. Oh my goodness, he can't see the baseball. And Wells stops at second. That was trouble from the outset. You could tell by his body language he just had no idea where that ball was.
Even with the sunglasses, even with the glove to shade the sun, he lost it, and there is nothing you can do about that. It's a helpless, helpless feeling. Vernon Wells will be credited with a double on a ball lost in the sun by Swisher. And just when we say the defense
Let him down.
again, Sergio Mitre deserves better. 3 base runners have been on now.
What's that like, though, Pat, fighting that ball in the sun?
Like I said, it's a very helpless, helpless feeling. I was playing left field at Oakland Coliseum one afternoon, and that is the worst sun field, I think, in baseball. Left field at Oakland Coliseum. Ball on the ground to Teixeira. He misses it.
Oh, my. And here's Wells giving the Blue Jays the lead again. What is going on? Are these the bad news Bears or the New York Yankees?
They've ruled that a hit, but that is a play that we have seen Mark Teixeira make over and over and over again. He is a Gold Glove caliber first baseman. Backs up on the ball a little bit, and then it's under his glove. Trying to get it on the big hop. A lot of ground balls, and Mitre can't do anything about that as he watches the ball roll into right field.
That's a tough hop, but that's also a major league first baseman, a Gold Glove award.
That's what I'm saying. He's a big league Gold Glover. Backed up on it and it went under his glove. So Swisher drops the ball in right field. Well, he didn't drop it. He lost it in the sun.
Here's Ruiz now. So back to that story about Oakland.
So there was a fly ball hit to me in left field, and I wasn't a gazelle or a great fielder, but I lost it in the sun, and I put my hands up like this. Where's the ball? And it hit me right in the chest. It's a very helpless feeling. You see guys ducking out of the way and covering up and running out of the way. I said, at least I'll sit there. Maybe it'll find my glove. It found my chest. Well, I had this big bruise on my chest, and after the game when I'd taken a shower, everybody was laughing at me. Saying they were like putting gloves on my chest and catch.
Goodness. Hey, we've got to find video of that play if it exists.
No, they didn't have it back then.
No, games weren't televised way back when.
That's right.
As Ruiz takes strike 2. You know, you almost feel sorry for a guy like Jose Canseco, who, I mean, you can't turn on the television and look at bloopers these days without watching that home run bounce off his head in right field when he played for Texas.
Yeah, that was a whiff. The sun or the lights had nothing to do with that.
If you're going to err, do it on a non-televised game. As the 1-2 is on the way, and it's grounded foul. Ruiz yesterday had an idea that shot in the second inning might have been foul, just to the left of the pole and in left field. And he told me today, he said, I might have gotten away with it if Jerry Hairston hadn't come storming in saying it was indeed foul. But, you know, that's competitive baseball. If you think something has been called incorrectly, stand up and say something.
Especially, you know, that home runs can be challenged now by video. Any team, any player, anybody who thinks that the ball is going to be foul is going to argue with the umpire.
1-2. And a big cut from Ruiz. He goes down on strikes for the second out.
When we first saw that foul ball / home run yesterday, I would have bet anything that ball was a fair ball. From where we were sitting and our first replay, then we had to swallow our words after we saw that one angle that showed it was clearly foul.
You know what helped was that it kicked to the right. It kicked toward fair territory after it hit the stands. Gave you the impression that, well, maybe it did.
It was fair. It went around the pole.
Here's Snyder again. Ball one. Let's take you back. In case you missed the ball game yesterday, this is the second inning. Andy Pettit with the pitch. And watch where the ball sort of ricochets and then falls down in what we would call fair territory. But you could see clearly there that it went to the left of the foul pole, and that's foul ground, in fact, and it was called back. And luckily for Ruiz, he hit one in his next at bat to left center.
They all even out, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They all even out. The bloopers that you hit that fall in after they catch your line drives.
No big deal for Pettit. He still got the win, his 13th of the year. Here's Mitre with the pitch. And it's 2 balls and a strike on Travis Snyder. There are a lot of people watching who were awfully impressed with Snyder at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year for a short time, hoping that he finds his way. It doesn't necessarily have to be this year. It's not imperative, I guess, in September if the Blue Jays are out of it, but they are leaning on this kid to be around for a long, long time.
Well, he's a young player. 21 years old?
21.
Think back when you were 21 years old. Would you be able to handle what he's doing? I know I couldn't. Just the mental drain, being away from home, facing big league pitching day in and day out. He's a good athlete, and he is going to be a good player. But there are going to be growing pains, and I think the Blue Jays know that. I think everybody knows that. What he can't do is get down on himself and say, I can't do this. You have to remain positive and work and listen. Listen to the coaches who have been there. Listen to the people who are instructing you to try and help you, because that's all they're doing. They're trying to help you.
I don't think it's in his fabric to allow himself to be defeated by short-term failure based on what we know of him. Here's the 3-2, and that's ball 4. And when the Blue Jays scouted him, that's the one thing that, you know, beyond the 500-foot home runs that he was hitting in high school was, you know, the fact that he was such a strong-willed personality.
But it's human nature when you go through slumps in hard times to say, wow, do I really, can I do this? I mean, even some of the best players ever have gone through that at young age. Derek Jeter is a prime example. Derek Jeter did that in the minor leagues. He made 56 errors his first full year in baseball. 56 errors at shortstop, and now look at him. He's a Gold Glove shortstop. He needed 4 hits the last day of the season in A-ball to hit 200. So there are growing pains in this game, and it's very hard. But if you believe in yourself and you believe in your ability, eventually the light will go on and you become a very good player. You've got the tools and the will to be a good player.
1-1 on Joe Inglet, who stretched his hit streak to 11 games with a single to center field in the second off Sergio Mitre. They meet again here with 2 out in the 3rd inning, and the Blue Jays leading 4-3. Ball 2. A changeup runs the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Blue Jays have Encarnacion at second, Travis Snyder at first.
And all these errors and missed plays by the Yankees are not helping Sergio Mitre's pitch count at all. Lots of extra pitches because of the miscues in the field. This is a player who is coming off Tommy John surgery. Missed all of last year because of that injury. Joe Girardi, his manager, had him in 2006 when they were in Florida together. Likes what he saw then. Thought it would be a good pickup, and for the most part, they have won games when he has started. They have won 5 of the 7 games that Sergio Mitre has started.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed as he drops an off-speed pitch on him and gets the strikeout, leaving 2. And after 3, thanks to the Blue Jays adding a run, they have elevated themselves to a 4-3 advantage on the Yankees.
Player in the major leagues.
Perfect for a third baseman. Were you doing the game in Baltimore with me when he was so busy talking?
Yes.
Talking to Melvin Moore that
they picked him off.
Ricky Romero picked him off.
See, that's a good veteran move.
That
right
is a veteran move indeed. As Jerry Hairston Jr. takes the ball from Brian Tallett. That's probably something that Randy Ruiz will be learning today is how conversational you get as a first baseman. He's playing there for the first time this afternoon. Hairston Jr., Melky Cabrera, Jose Molina coming up for the Yankees. now down by 1. And Swisher's trying on new shades.
Where did he get them? From Jorge Posada?
Probably. Can I borrow these, says Swisher? I believe I just heard a scoring change on what was Encarnacion's single. Changed instead to an error, and you can charge it to the first baseman, Mark Teixeira. So that would mean 3 errors committed so far today by the Yankees.
They came in this game 4th in the American League in fielding percentage. And now 3 errors, one by the third baseman, second baseman, and now the first baseman have led to 3 runs.
There's the payoff to Hairston Jr., and he runs it inside for ball 4. That third error will be a little more formal when I see it posted on the ribbon scoreboard in right center field. At this point, they haven't put it up there, but we'll warn you when they change it from a 2 to a 3. Here's Melky Cabrera, center fielder, who grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second inning. There's a strike. The official scores listing, because they've just changed it. There are now 3 errors listed on the scoreboard here at Rogers Center.
Bob Davison is hearing it a little bit from the Yankee bench.
And he has all day. Now it's Joe Girardi giving him the business. It had been Nick Swisher with Cano up at the plate in the second. One strike on Cabrera. Quick move by Talent, and the pitch is away.
It's a nice aggressive lead over at first base by Jerry Hairston, who runs well. We were talking yesterday about his pickup, and I think it's a good pickup. His ability to play other positions, pinch run. He does have 7 stolen bases and 10 attempts. And he's got a nice aggressive lead over at first base.
Hands on his knees over there as he watches Talent, who comes to the plate. This one popped up. Ruiz backs off first, and he comes down with it. An over the shoulder catch. That's a DH playing first base today, Pat.
That is a very nice play. We saw Kevin Millar yesterday make the same type of play. Your back is to the infield. You've got to catch it like a wide receiver. It's a good play right here. That ball, remember, is spinning away from you. It reaches the apex of its height and then starts spinning away with the backspin. He runs it down and makes a nice play for the first out.
One down, and the number 9 hitter is Jose Molina, who popped out in the third inning. Soon after he popped out, the Yankees picked up 4 hits against Talent, scoring 3 times and tying the ball game at 3. But in the bottom of the last inning, another error proved costly to the Yankees as Wells scored the go-ahead run. on a misplay by Teixeira at first, and the Blue Jays lead 4-3.
Remember how Vernon got on. That was an easy fly ball to the right fielder, too.
But Nick Swisher was wearing the wrong sunglasses. Wells has them on too. Enjoying a pocket full of sunflower seeds. And Molina is late on that swing, a changeup from Talent, and he gets ahead 0-2.
Starting to work that changeup in a little bit more now as this game progresses is Brian Talent. And I think that is a very good pitch that he has. He has to throw it. He has to get the Yankee batter swinging at it. When he does, that's going to make that fastball and that cutting fastball that much better.
There he goes.
Another one. 3 in a row to Benji Molina, who's a notorious first ball, fastball type of hitter. He likes that number 1. But Brian Talent was not going to give it to him. 4th strikeout this afternoon, all swinging by Brian Talent.
Here comes number 2. Derek Jeter, and he's 2 for 2, getting closer and closer to the all-time Yankee hit mark, held for many, many years by Lou Gehrig.
Would not be surprised to see Jerry Hairston attempt a stolen base here. If he gets thrown out, Derek Jeter leads off the next inning. I think the Blue Jays are thinking right along with us. Talent's going to hold that ball. He was going to go. He was breaking. They have a couple of pitchers who do a good job of holding runners on. Scott Richmond holds runners on well for a big man. I think Talent does a good job of holding runners on when he's paying attention to them. I think he forgot about Jeter in the first inning. But for a big man who's, I don't want to say slow to the plate, but he's got a good slide step, does Brian Talent.
Casey Janssen?
Casey Janssen holds runners on beautifully. Sean Markham held runners on when he was healthy.
Real aggressive lead, and he's got him going backward. Hairston Jr. moving back toward first base, and you made the comment yesterday that if you're going to take a lead and yet that lead takes you back to first on first move, that's anti-productive.
Yeah, just stand out there, just freeze. Take a shorter lead and just freeze.
Ball 4 to Jeter. No need to steal second when the guy behind you is walking, and that's the case here. Here's Johnny Damon again. He picked up an accidental base hit in the 3rd inning when he sort of slapped one that rolled out in front of home plate and beat the throw from Barajas at first base. Foul back and out of play. This is popped up, and Encarnacion watches it drift out of play. So it's 2 strikes now on Damon. First and second for the Yankees. They trail it by 1.
Find a way right now to get Damon out. Left-handers hitting .290 against Brian Talent this year. You're way ahead. Figure out what you're going to do to get him. Good idea. Do you dare throw him a changeup? The old school thought is left-handers don't throw changeup to the left-handed batter because they end up right in their wheelhouse. The down and in pitch.
It's been a good pitch for him today. That is set up away, and it's sliced to left field, but there's Travis Snyder. He makes the catch, and Damon is retired. The Yankees lead 2. Bottom of the 4th coming up with the Blue Jays on top by 1. He hopes these ones work, and they were apparently borrowed from catcher Jorge Posada.
And just praying that this game moves along quickly so that Sun can get out of his vision. The Sun field and right field here at Rogers Center. It could be tough. He is still looking up there.
Strike 1 to Marcos Scutaro, who leads off the Jays' 4th. Aaron Hill is behind him on deck. Adam Lind in the hole. It's the Blue Jays 4, the Yankees 3. In game number 4, the last visit by New York this year. Sergio Mitre on the hill. Tries to run it back across and misses. It's 1-1. There's a curveball in for strike number 3. Down goes Scutaro. He struck out twice today.
You know, you're so geared for that good sinking action that Mitre has on his fastball, and you're thinking in. If he drops this one on the right-handers, it freezes you. That's what he does to Scutaro to pick up his 3rd strikeout over the last 4 batters that he has faced. 4th overall today.
Here's Hill again, who is now 1 double shy of joining 4 other men in the major leagues this year with at least 30 home runs and at least 30 doubles. He's got 29 thanks to his latest, a 1st inning job that scored a run. That's bounced foul. If there is a man who deserves the American League Comeback Player of the Year award, you're looking at him. His season last year came to a crashing halt in late May in Oakland. As he drives this to center field, Cabrera backtracks and makes the catch.
I have been trying to think who else would be on that list of comeback players of the year.
Now you've got me thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not just, well, they came back and they played. You've got to come back from injury, from whatever it might be,
and do something
and excel.
We will think about that over the next couple of weeks, but for me, that's the man right there.
Mitre with a one-strike pitch on Adam Lind. Lind is 0 for 2 today, as Mitre gets 2 strikes on him, and that's something that really hasn't phased Lind this year. In fact, he has 72 strike hits this year, more than anybody in the major leagues.
Good plate coverage, good idea of what the pitcher's trying to do to you.
Boy, Mitre's walking off the way a pitcher would if he thinks he had strike 3, but it's a little too far inside, and it's 2-2. That's where Molina sets up again. It comes back across the plate, and it's fouled away.
You were talking earlier about Mitre's batting average versus left-handed batters. Coming into this game, 446.
Yes.
You know, you flip that around in right-handers, he's just been eating up right-handers this year. Righty's just hitting 215 against Mitre.
What a difference.
Big difference. The largest in the major leagues, that batting average distance.
Three and two. Here's Mitre with the pitch. Lind fights it off and stays alive.
You can see the action that he has on that fastball and how it would really eat up those right-handed hitters. I think he needs to come up with something that negates left-handed batters. Maybe he can cut the fastball like Halladay does against left-handed batters. Or maybe he can spin a ball in on their hands or throw a changeup.
Hard hit and backhanded by Jeter. Boy, what a nice play by the veteran. That ball was scorched, but Jeter makes it look easy. 1, 2, 3 go the Jays. After 4, they're up by 1. by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. The Yankees this year are 35-21 within the American League East. The Blue Jays are just 18-39. That's been a major problem for Toronto this year, is beating teams within the division.
You know, if you're going to beat the teams ahead of you, you have to play better against them. And the Blue Jays against Tampa, New York, and Boston, 12-33. That has been a awful sticking point for them. And it's even worse on the road. When they go to Tampa, Boston, or New York, they are just 3-16 on the road. That, in a nutshell, has been what has happened this year.
4-11 against the Yankees this year as Mark Teixeira lines it to left field. And it rolls up and off the wall, gets away from Snyder momentarily. Teixeira has a double to lead off the 5th inning.
Number 36 of the season for the slugging first baseman. Gets everything into it. You see how he collapses that backside, but he's got such strong hand and good hand-eye coordination that he can just muscle the ball by Travis Snyder for the double.
Different type of swing from the right side than from the left.
Yeah, he collapses a little bit more on the right side and lifts the ball in the air, as opposed to diving into the ball and using his hands to lift it from the left side.
There's Matsui, who owns talent. Matsui's last hit was a blooper into left field that cashed 2 runs. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. This afternoon, we'd like to wish a happy 85th birthday to Maisie Sorosky, who's watching from Davidson, Saskatchewan. That's smack in the middle between Regina and Saskatoon, just off Highway 11. Swing and a miss from Matsui.
Did we talk at all yesterday about the Yankees and the runs that they have scored in their history?
No. In their history?
Yeah, they have come into this game number 1 in the American League in run score. They came into this game with 779. You had 3 of that, 782.
This year.
This year. Their team record for the most runs scored in a season is 1,067, which is a lot of runs.
That's a lot of runs.
Just to get 1,000 runs is a lot of runs scored. They did that back in 1931. Remember, they had 154 game seasons back then. They only played 153 games that year. They must have lost a game in a rainout. Well, they scored 1,067 runs. They averaged 7 runs a game, and they finished in second place by 13.5 games.
To who?
To the Philadelphia A's. Now, to score 1,000 runs a game nowadays with a 162 game season, you have to average just over 6 runs a game to get over 1,000. The Yankees are averaging 7 3/4 or 5 3/4 runs, so they're close. It's going to be close if they're going to score 1,000 runs.
They scored over 1,000 runs and finished second. To Connie Mack's Philadelphia A's.
They won 94 games and finished 13.5 games out after scoring that many runs. Just to put everything into perspective of where this offensive team is, and I think this is a very good offensive team.
Grounded to first. Ruiz underhands, and Talent is covering. So he gets there in time, and that was a bit of a problem for Talent in his last start against the Texas Rangers on a ground ball by Chris Davis. Talent just couldn't get there in time and ended up making a costly error that brought home David Murphy.
Watch how he falls off towards the third base side. Now you got to get it going again. Matsui does not run well enough to beat that one out. Anything hit to the right side as a pitcher, you just break. You get it into your muscle memory that you break towards first base, because the slightest hesitation a good base runner is going to beat that out. Okay, the infield comes in now with just 1 out. Runner at third base.
Nick Swisher is the batter. He doubled in a run in his last at bat and fouls this first pitch away. Swisher came over in a trade with the White Sox in the offseason. Spent 1 year in Chicago after coming up with the Oakland A's. His personality gives that Yankee clubhouse a bit of a different feel. And then throw in, you know, the pie thrower A.J. Burnett himself, and you've got a looser bunch of guys.
Well, it helps when you're winning games, and winning as many games as the Yankees have. They've won 87 games. It helps to keep loose when you do the pies and all that. But the thing about Nick Swisher is he's a very positive person. Gives off a very positive feel to everybody. Upbeat.
He hits this one high and deep to left field. Snyder on his way back to the wall, and it is gone. Nick Swisher goes deep, and the Yankees are on top.
To hit a ball out of Rogers Center to left center field when the roof is open and it's a high ball, you have to have some bat speed, and that's what Nick Swisher does. He generates. Watch where Talent throws this ball up. He gets on top of it and just powers it to left field. The wind really knocks it down when the roof is open here, but he has plenty for that 2-run home run. And it continues for Nick Swisher, hitting the long ball on the road.
21 of his 24 home runs have come on the road. And the latest gives the Yankees a 5-4 lead. Robinson Cano knocked one out in yesterday's game. He takes that pitch low, and it's 1-1. That home run off of Talent is the 17th the big left-hander has surrendered this season, as he kicks and fires the 1-1 pitch, and it's out of play. Some poor guy down there just took a major tumble going after that foul ball. The 1-2. Ball 2.
The numbers don't lie. That is what happens for Brian Talent. First time, second time, and then third time through. But not good for Cano here as he strikes out for the second time against Brian Talent.
You know, Cano's problem today is that every time he comes to the plate, those jets pass by.
Yeah, right when the pitcher is ready to let go of the ball.
And the last at bat, he had to back out and call time because the Blue Angels were peeling overhead, and he's 0 for 3. And is the second out of the 5th inning. And it brings back Jerry Hairston Jr., who's walked twice. And he goes after this first one and hammers it into the seats in left field. You made the point, I believe it was yesterday, about Kevin Millar standing up in the batter's box against a left-handed pitcher because of the breaking ball that comes in, and Hairston Jr. is the same way. against a lefty in talent,
who has had success against right-handers this year.
There's Brian Wolf, first man to get up in the Blue Jays pen. Yanked foul again. And this ball almost made it to the fifth deck. Almost.
Made it into the fourth.
The organist got it.
He's showing everybody.
The organist got the ball.
That has been a problem for Bryant this year. He is now at 100 pitches. We're in the fifth inning. Halladay is at 14 pitches an inning. Brett Cecil is at like 17 or 18 pitches an inning. Ricky Romero's at 16, I believe. Today, though, it's taken 20 pitches per inning to get through 5.
Grounded, taken by Hill, and he throws to first to get Hairston Jr. Spectacular defense from number 2. And he trots off the field with the rest of his teammates. But it's Nick Swisher going deep, and the Yankees are on top now. In that one, it finishes up on Thursday with an afternoon game, a 12:30 start here at the ballpark on Thursday. The Twins and Blue Jays in the fourth and final game before it's off to Comerica Park. And the Blue Jays will take on the Tigers in Detroit for the first time.
Yeah, we opened the season with the Tigers here at home, and we haven't seen them.
And the Blue Jays took 3 of 4 in that opening series, and look where Detroit is now.
And they took 3 of 4 from Minnesota. In Minnesota at the beginning of the season. We have not seen them. But we get that big 4-game series starting tomorrow.
And the last team to come in here, Seattle, we haven't seen them in this ballpark all year long. Those teams are victims of interleague.
Yes.
As Barajas drops this in left field, he's got a base hit.
And Mitre is a victim of a bad 0-2 pitch. Rob Barajas is a very good low ball, fastball hitter. You throw him a fastball down there and he's going to hit it. Right in the wheelhouse, 0-2. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back. Right after his team gave him 2 runs in the top of the inning, he jumps ahead and then can't finish off Barajas. Second hit of the afternoon for Rod.
And Vernon Wells is 2 for 2 today. He's got a single and a double. On the first pitch, Wells watches it fly. It's 1-0. That's grounded to short. Jeter to Cano, who goes to Teixeira, but not in time to get the double play.
When you see teams that play on grass come into Rogers Center and play on this turf, it's a little bit slower. This is a double play ball, but Jeter is playing deep, and the ball takes what seems to be a long time to get to him. Wells is hustling all the way down the line, trying to stay out of the double play, and he just beats the throw. But teams come in here and they're not really sure how to play on this type of field turf. I think it plays a little bit slower than grass. I think they're all thinking that it's the normal type of AstroTurf and it's spongy and it's fast, and it's not.
Although they should be by now.
You would
guys
think.
like Derek Jeter and the Yankees, they come in here 3 times a year.
You would think, but you watch the Blue Jays, how they position themselves in double play depth, and then you watch other teams, and it's different.
Edwin Encarnacion is the batter. 1 out, 1 on. Swing and a miss. Hitting just a $190. Wells breaks from first, swung on and missed, and Molina drops it.
Trying to get home plate umpire Bob Davison saying that he was interfered with on the swing by Encarnacion. But Bob Davis is going to tell Joe Girardi, who now makes his way out toward home plate, that he lost the ball in the transfer from the glove to the throwing hand on the steal attempt. Let's watch it again. No chance to get Wells, who got a monstrous jump over at first base. It's a foul tip, and Molina drops the ball. There was no intention by Encarnacion to distract him. The follow through it looked like it hit him in the shoulder. Nothing you can do about that.
And Wells has his 15th stolen base of the year. And that moves the potential tying run into scoring position. Encarnacion with a ball and 2 strikes. 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mitre now from the stretch. And that is well off the plate. And Encarnacion strikes out. Molina not in time to get him, though, to finish him off at first. Encarnacion alertly got headed down the first baseline very quickly after that strikeout, and he's rewarded for it.
Remember, he's had a hamstring problem. That's why he was on the disabled list. Knocked down by Molina, who comes up firing to first base. But Encarnacion beats it out, and Vernon Wells goes to third base. So again, the defense for the Yankees have let them down.
and let Mitre down in the process as he now faces Ruiz, who hits a base hit to right field and drives home Vernon Wells. Ruiz ties the game going after the first pitch, and we're knotted again, this time at 5.
You can see why Randy Ruiz was hitting for such a high average in the minor leagues. Takes what Mitre gives him and just punches the ball to the right side for an RBI single. He has power. If you make a mistake, it looks like he can turn on pitches. But he handles that fastball in the outer half nicely with an RBI single.
Travis Snider swings and drives the ball to right field. A base hit for Snider. Encarnacion is waved home. Here's Cano with the relay home, and he is safe. Even with the bad hammy, he's got enough speed to get home in time as Snider drives in the go-ahead run.
He is not going to waste any time. Not a strong throw from Swisher in the outfield as he one-hops the cutoff man. That's Cano, but running hard all the way is Encarnacion as he realizes the ball's in the outfield, cuts that corner. He will slide under the tag, and when Ruiz, the runner at first base, realizes that they're throwing towards home, he makes it all the way to third base. So good heads-up base running there by Ruiz. First and third, still just one out for the Jays. They get those 2 runs back quickly that they gave up in the top of the inning.
And the scorching Joe Inglet is the batter, the number 9 hitter who singled in the second, extending his hit streak to 11 games. Has a chance to increase Toronto's lead here. It's 6-5 for the Blue Jays, bottom of the 5. Strike 1. Mitre has kept the pitch count reasonable. It's 85 for him now. Still no sign of movement in the Yankee bullpen as he sends Snider diving back to the bag at first.
He has given up 9 hits and 6 runs, but his defense has really hurt him this afternoon. 3 errors already, and they have cost him a couple of extra runs.
Inglet taps this to third. Hairston Jr. fakes the throw home and doesn't get it to first in time. I'm not sure Jerry Hairston realizes how quick Joe Inglet is.
And he is not going to take anything for granted as Joe Inglet, even when he taps the ball to the third baseman. Not conceding anything. Hairston thought about it for a split second about getting Ruiz at the plate right here, but then says, all right, I can't do it. And by that time, it's too late. Inglet hustling hard out of the box, beats it. And the 7th run crosses the plate. Good hustle there.
There's no statistic for mental errors. They've committed 3 in the field today, have the Yankees. And Hairston's hesitation there certainly hurts them as Inglet finds his way aboard yet again. And Marco Scutaro comes up with 2 on. (7-5) in favor of the Jays. Inside on Scutaro, it's 1-1, and finally we see some action in the Yankee bullpen. That's right-hander Mark Melanson. Scudero holds up, and the count is 2-1.
You know, I like to, go back during games and look at little plays that we, maybe don't take into account the size of them. Ruiz going first to third on that single by Snyder when the throw came home got Joe England an RBI right there. I mean, that's good team baseball. It's not going to show up in the box score as Scudero fouls that ball. But his heads up base running, when he realizes that Swisher is going to go home with the ball, he can go to third base on that. He gets there, he picks up the extra 90 feet, and he's able to score and get in England an RBI. If he's at second base, that might be a double play. So a good heads up base running cashes a run for Toronto. Also gets his teammate an RBI.
Mitre with the pitch, and it's golfed to left field. A base hit. Snyder's held at third as the throw comes in from Damon. And they are really starting to put the boots here to Sergio Mitre, and he knows his time is nearing an end.
Ball is elevated. He struck out Scudero last time with a breaking ball that freezes him. This time Marco stays right in on there. Stays in on it and bangs the ball into left field.
So Aaron Hill will come up with the bases loaded. There's Snyder at third base. Over at second, Joe Inglet. Scudero's first hit of the game has him at first. And Aaron Hill, with 31 home runs this year, is the batter. They've got Mitre on the ropes. The first pitch is low and away, ball one.
92 RBIs for Aaron Hill. His next RBI will tie Robbie Alomar for the most RBIs in a season for a second baseman.
Two and nothing. Hill is clearly in the driver's seat here.
He's already touched up Mitre with a double and an RBI his first time up. A sinker that didn't sink.
Grounds this one foul.
He has had great success this year with the bases loaded, has Aaron Hill.
He certainly has, hitting .385. Though he has not hit a home run with the bases loaded.
That would be a good way to break the Blue Jay record for RBIs, second baseman.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Strike two. So Mitre comes back and evens the count with a good sinker.
He'll probably get another one of those. He's looking to get the ball on the ground, and Hill's looking to get the ball in the air.
Runs it in, and Hill does not go around. They appealed to first, but Scott Berry got a good look. And so on 3-2 with Snyder at third, Joe Inglet at second base, Marco Scudero at first, Sergio Mitre will face Aaron Hill. A full count, 1 out in the 5th inning.
Be aggressive. Look for the ball. Anticipate a strike right here.
Mitre sets. Here he comes. Ball 4. Hill walks in a run. Make that an 8-5 lead now, as the Jays have scored their 4th run in the inning. And up comes Joe Girardi. He calls to Melanson in the bullpen. They'll send Mitre to the showers after he walks Hill with the bases loaded. So we'll take a break and return as the Jays have a 3-run lead. has to go to his bullpen and try his luck with another right-hander. In this case, it's the rookie, Mark Melanson.
Yeah, Melanson originally was selected by the Yankees in the 9th round in 2006. He has made his way up to the big league roster. He made his debut back in April at Boston. Spent some time in the minor leagues. Pitched here a couple of nights ago. Good overhand fastball and a good curveball.
Mitre's got the jacket on and the elevated ERA. Watching on a gorgeous day as Adam Lynn gets a chance with the bases loaded on Monday in Texas. He hit his first ever grand slam. He's 0 for 3 today, grounding out 3 times. Melanson now, though, is a new face on that mound for Lynn, who checks his swing on the pitch high. 3 men on for the Blue Jays here, and a 3-run lead. Melanson pitches low. It's 2-0. He came up first with the Yankees in April, made his debut at Fenway Park. Facing a left-handed hitter in Lind, who's having a terrific season, and he watches that one pass for ball 3. Ball 4.
Hey, if they're not going to throw it over the plate, don't swing. That's his 8th walk in 13 innings of work. You can't defend the base on balls. Mitre walks in Aaron Hill before he is lifted, and the first batter Melanson faces. 4 pitches later, it's now 9-5.
And here is the man who started this inning, Rod Barajas, by singling to left field. Since then, 5 have come in. The starter's been chased. Melanson with the first pitch, and it's a called strike from Bob Davidson. Barajas has one of 3 Blue Jay grand slams this year. His came on the 24th of August against Tampa Bay. He hit it off of Jeff Neiman. The 1-1. And he likes them low, and that one fools Barajas.
Good change up there. How different would this inning look if they didn't throw a wild pitch on strike 3 to Encarnacion? That would have been the second out, and there would have been a runner at second base after the stolen base. Blue Jays have capitalized on the defensive mistakes that the Yankees have had today. 5 in this inning, and they're looking for more.
Barajas is gearing up for the 1-2 from Melanson. Swings and misses, and there he goes. So he strikes out. And finally, for the Yankees, they get a second out.
He can get you out with a fastball in the upper part of the zone, throws it right by him. Big strikeout. Jays, on the other hand, are looking for that big hit. 4 runs, I'm afraid, is not going to be enough against the Yankees. They just have a way of coming back and not giving up and giving in.
Perhaps Vernon Wells then can deliver as he steps up with the bases loaded. Wells has scored twice today. He's 2 for 3 at the plate. And he takes the strike. It's 1-1. Here in the bottom of 5, the Jays have scored 5. They've got Marco Scutaro at third, Aaron Hill at second, and Adam Lind at first. Rookie Mark Melancon is trying to clean up Sergio Mitre's mess. 1 ball and 1 strike. Grounded to third. Jeter deep in the hole, no throw. Scutaro scores, and the Blue Jays are into double digits. It's 10-5.
That will help right there. That run will be charged also to Mitre, and his line is not over yet. Vernon Wells with his 3rd hit of the afternoon just cannot get it into the outfield for Lind to score. Jeter playing a deep shortstop. We talked about that already this inning. Gets to it, and there's nothing he can do with it. An infield single for Wells. It's now 10-5.
Here's Encarnacion again, who holds up, and it's ball 1. So Wells with 3 hits today, and now an RBI. He makes it a 10-5 game, moving everybody up and giving Encarnacion a chance. Here's the pitch, and it's drilled high and deep, but foul to left field.
Shows you the kind of power that Encarnacion possesses. Fastball in the inner half, and that one would have been in the 4th deck. And just like that, ex-Blue Jay Josh Towers gets up, and he's starting to get loose. He was just brought up yesterday, added to the 40-man roster. That's the kind of big hit that the Jays are looking for. One where they can just say, whew, give me some breathing room. Time to keyhole him right here. 3-1, no place to put Encarnacion. Bases are loaded. Keyhole him. 1 pitch, 1 area, and then just let it fly.
Here it is. Not even close. Not even close. Another bases loaded walk.
And now you can close the books on Sergio Mitre. 7 runs that the Blue Jays have scored this inning will all be charged to him. After Aaron Hill crosses the plate, another bases loaded walk. That's 3 of them this inning.
Well, he's seen better days. There's little question there. And now Molina out at the pitcher's mound. If for any other reason to give Josh Towers a little more time to stretch.
Well, you know what, guys? Pat, you mentioned it earlier in the game that this doubleheader tomorrow for the Yankees really plays in to the equation here. Not to mention that Scranton Wilkes-Barre is into the playoffs as well. So the Yankees have to be somewhat selective with who they pick and choose so as not to deplete the AAA team. as well. And obviously that's factoring into Girardi's decisions here today.
Which is why you see Josh Towers up in Warren.
Yeah, and why he is on this roster. And Girardi made a point of that yesterday, talking about it. I read additional reports today that Melanson was not available today, but he comes in and he cannot find the plate. And Josh Towers is going to come into this game. He was brought here because he can start, he can relieve, or he can long relieve, and he needs some innings for that bullpen. Sam makes a great point. With that doubleheader, they're going to need some fresh arms. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Through just 4 to third inning. 10 hits, 9 earned runs. That'll jack that earned run average up.
And this is appropriate because Josh Towers has not pitched in a major league game in almost 2 years, and he did so here in this stadium with the Toronto Blue Jays back on September the 30th, 2007. He's been around the minor leagues ever since. Started the year in the Nationals organization, now finds himself with the Yankees and back in the big leagues. Facing Randy Ruiz, who takes a swing at his first pitch.
Well, you know what you will get from Josh Towers. He won't overpower you. He'll spin the ball up there. His whole thing is changing speeds and hitting spots. First pitch breaking ball to Ruiz with the bases loaded.
This one flied toward right field, and that's trouble, but it drops foul. And Swisher got there a little late. If that's in fair territory, well, you might be looking at 3 runs.
Easily 3 runs.
So Towers is able to get ahead of the batter, and he's probably introducing himself to Jose Molina here. Nice to meet you. He actually had his contract selected by the Yankees earlier this year, just ahead of a series against the Blue Jays, but was designated the very next day when they brought Chad Godin in. 2 strikes here on Ruiz in a 7-run inning. Oh, and that hits him right in the face. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if that got helmet, Jamie. It's almost like he lost track of the ball because he didn't move. You never want to see that. 0-2 pitch. You're looking for something out over the plate. Sometimes the ball just disappears on you. You lose it for just a second, and the reaction, you don't move, and all of a sudden it's right on top of you. He tries to turn away, and it looks like it hit him in the cheek area of the face.
Oh, that's terrible. That is just a chilling thing to see. Now, Dr. Ron Taylor is coming out now to assist George Poulos and Dave Abraham. Dr. Taylor's been the team physician with this team for a long time now, and a former pitcher himself. Won a couple of World Series with the Cardinals and the New York Mets. There is Ruiz.
Josh Towers probably feels awful. You're just watching him out there. He's just a couple of feet away from Ruiz, just trying to push him off the plate with a fastball.
And the one thing, Pat, that marked his tenure with the Blue Jays was being a good control pitcher. And this is a great sign here. I mean, Ruiz getting up on his own, walking off, assisted by Dr. Taylor and George Poulos. There are a lot of people here right now greatly relieved to see this.
It's a scary, scary thing when you see a ball player hit in the face area there. Let's just hope everything is okay for Randy Ruiz.
That is the toughest RBI he'll ever pick up. And you know, Towers was always a good control pitcher, as Kevin Millar will pinch run now at first for Ruiz. He certainly lost his share of games, but he was one of fine control, and that one runs right in and hits Ruiz in the cheek. As Travis Snyder hits this in the air, Damon is there, and finally, this mess of an inning for the Yankees comes to an end as the Blue Jays score 8 times and now lead 12-5. On a long afternoon, made longer by the fact that the Blue Jays just scored 8 times, bringing 14 batters to the plate in the bottom of the 5th. And our thoughts right now are with Randy Ruiz, who is in the Blue Jay clubhouse after a pitch from Josh Towers ran in and hit him in the left cheek. Hopefully he'll be just fine. His team offensively doing quite well here, as you can see. 12-5 is the lead as Brian Talent leaves the game and pitches the required 5 innings to be in position to win this. Brian Wolf now comes out of the bullpen, and he greets the batter Melky Cabrera with strike 1.
Second stint for the Blue Jays this year for Brian Wolf. He was recalled on September 1st from the minor leagues. He's got a good arm, and he can cut that fastball in on left-handers. The whole thing with Brian Wolf is he's got to change speeds just a little bit more and get the ball down. He runs into trouble when he falls behind and his pitches start leaking up in the strike zone.
There's a good breaking ball, and that retires Cabrera.
He's got that spike curve. You see how his right index finger is sitting right on top of the ball, his knuckle, and he drops it in for the strikeout. There is the line for today's starter, Brian Talent. 5 innings. It took him 102 pitches, 3 walks, 5 earned runs, and 8 hits. And he is in line for the W because he pitches the 5 innings that is required, and he leaves with the lead.
Jose Molina is the batter now, and he takes a strike. We have certainly seen our share of Blue Jay batters getting hit in this series, as that one is laced down the line and foul. Are we going to see, as this game progresses, some of the Blue Jay pitchers, do you think?
No. Retaliating, is it? No. I don't think so. If you're referring to what just happened in the last inning, there was no malicious intent there.
But it does sort of show a bit of a trend here, because I mean, I'm looking over my scorecard from the 4-game series, and I see, I think, 5 hit batsmen by Yankee pitchers.
Just chalk that up to bad pitching. Okay. Brian Wolf quickly gets the first 2 batters here, running that ball right in on the hands of Molina. Got into 34 games while he was down in the minor leagues. He did have 3 saves when he was pitching for AAA this year.
Back comes Derek Jeter with 2 base hits. He's been on all 3 times up. It's funny, running pitches in and hitting batters was actually a topic of conversation with Cito Gaston before the game today, and he was saying that, you know, when he played, there were some players who couldn't stomach standing up there because of the fear of getting hit. And he actually mentioned a player who was with the Cubs, I guess in the late 60s, Adolfo Phillips. And the scouting report when he was with the Braves, the Padres, they go over the scouting reports against the Cubs, and you know, you pitch this guy in, you throw breaking balls to this guy, but when Phillips is up, you hit him. You throw a pitch and you hit him the very first time he comes up, and you're assured of getting him 0 for 4 that day, because he just couldn't stomach standing in against big league pitching.
Hey, any kind of pitching. I mean, it is really tough sometimes, and I've played with players who have had that block in their mind about getting hit, and their first movement is that lower half starts to leak out a little bit, and your bottom legs, they're connected to your hip, to your shoulder, to your head, and that whole thing starts turning away from the pitch. I have played with guys who have stuck around for a few years who get fearful of the ball, and it's something that you just have to overcome. A lot of times, Jamie, it's when you've been hit. And,
multiple times.
Yeah, or I remember Paul Blair. I actually played with him when I was with the Yankees in spring training. He was a great hitter coming up, but he got hit in the face when he was a player with the Baltimore Orioles, and it affected him the latter part of his career. His first movement was, stepping in the bucket. You call that as a kid. And I asked somebody, why does he do that? And he said he got hit right in the face at some point in his career and has trouble with that.
Jeter with a base hit, his third of the game, as he sneaks it right under Scudero's glove.
He has been on base all 4 times.
But for extra innings, we might have seen Jeter match Gehrig in this ballgame the way he's been picking them up.
He's got a simple approach to the plate. Just stay inside the ball. That time Wolf was running it inside, and he stayed inside, got the big part of the bat on the ball, and banged it back through the middle. Now 3 hits away from tying Gehrig.
He might just do it in game 1 of the doubleheader tomorrow. And I think what's impressive, Pat, about what Jeter is doing right now is it's one thing to break a record that has existed for 10 years. He's breaking a record, or is about to, that has lasted since 1939. The all-time Yankee hits mark has been Gehrig since 1939.
70 years.
So he's not just passing someone who passed someone else recently. He's going to storm by the Iron Horse on a hits record, at least in Yankee history, that's been around for 70 years.
And the good ones do it with flair, don't they? Ted Williams needed to hit 400 in 1941. He gets how many hits in the doubleheader?
That was like 5 for 8.
5, 6 for 8, whatever it was.
Because I guess on the last day, his actual batting average was .399.
Yeah, you round it up, it's 400.
If you rounded it up, it would have been 400, and Williams could not have stood for that. Two balls and 2 strikes. Wolf against Damon. And it's slapped to left, a base hit.
This is what they do to you. It's amazing as you sit here and you watch the Yankees. The first 2 batters go quietly, and then boom, boom, 2 more base hits. They're down by 7 runs, but they just keep pecking away and battling and fighting. It's like they sit over in that dugout and they say, we will not have a 1-2-3 inning. We will battle and scratch and claw and make you earn the 27 outs if you're going to beat us.
There's Mark Teixeira again with 2 on. Now Scott Carson, our statistician, has just put something in front of me that sort of alludes to the topic we were discussing moments ago. The last 12 games, Blue Jay batters have been hit 11 times. Opponents have been hit just 4. So we've been seeing a lot of it lately. The one hit batsman we're concerned about today, though, is Randy Ruiz. As Brian Wolf deals the 1-1, that's grounded to the right side. Millar fresh into the game, underhands to the pitcher, and gets the 3rd out. So we've played only 5.5 innings today, and the Blue Jays lead 12-5. Toronto, and we are certainly glad that you've decided to join us. You may start to see some changes for the Yankees. There's one of them. Ramiro Pena is the new shortstop. Remember, they've got a doubleheader to play tomorrow, and right now they're down by 7 runs in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, you mentioned it, a day-night doubleheader, so that first game starts at 1 o'clock in New York. So you'll see Girardi, I'm sure, start to pull some of his players.
There's a shot down the line, a base hit for England. Extra bases, in fact, as Swisher picks it up. England charges for second, and he adds a double to his 2 singles.
What were we saying? Every time he plays, he does a little something to help his ball club. That day, rips this ball right by Teixeira down the right field line. His 3rd hit. He's been on 3 times. He scored a run. He was credited with a single last inning on that ball and an RBI when the Blue Jays put together their biggest inning of the season. 8 runs scored.
Scudero flies this one center field, and Cabrera is there for the first out. Is Joe Inglet, in your mind, an everyday player somewhere, or is he will he make his career as sort of a super utility?
Yeah, I don't know if he would be like an everyday player, but he could certainly play on my team if I'm the manager, simply because he can play different positions. He comes to play every day. He can bunt if you need him to. He can play second, short, third. We've seen him at left and right. He can pinch hit. He can pinch run. And in an era of teams carrying 8 relievers because starters can't go deep or whatever, you have to have players at the end of your bench that can play multiple positions and help you in different ways. I bet you if you asked him to catch, I bet you he could be a 3rd catcher too.
Here's Towers. Ball 1 to Hill. You have to figure Josh Towers will be asked to pitch the rest of this game. It's doubtful under the circumstances, and with a doubleheader looming tomorrow, that the Yankees want to use another arm, and he's of course fresh after being summoned from AAA, where he's been starting for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Here's Hill popping it up, and it's just out of the reach of Mark Teixeira. Towers spent last year with the Colorado Rockies organization in AAA with Colorado Springs, going 6-7. His ERA was 6.27. As that one is laced down the line, and that's a fair ball for Hill. Inglet comes home. Hill to second, and that double makes it a 13-5 game.
And it accomplishes 2 things that we have talked about with Aaron Hill today. The double makes him a 30-30 guy.
That's right.
30 doubles and 30 home runs, so he's the 5th player?
The 5th player.
Okay. That RBI double also gives him 94 on the season. 3 today, 94 on the season to set a new record for RBIs in a season by a Blue Jays second baseman, beating that man right there, Roberto Alomar. So he got him in the home runs and RBIs now.
Here's Adam Lind. So Hill joins Mark Teixeira, Albert Pujols, Ryan Howard, and Kendry Morales as players in the big leagues right now with at least 30 home runs and at least 30 doubles. Here's Lynn fouling it back.
So you can write back and say you're a 30-30 man.
That's right. And Adam Lynn needs 2 more home runs to join that club. He has 45 doubles this year and 28 home runs. Towers on 0-2. Off the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Way back when, Josh Towers was a 15th round draft choice. of the Baltimore Orioles. That was 1996. As it's slapped to short, taken by Pena. He fires to first, and Lind is gone. Back in 05, the year that Roy Halladay, around the middle of the season, after having won 12 games, broke his leg in a game against the Texas Rangers. It was Towers, along with Gustavo Chacin, who ended up leading the team in victories at the end of the year with 13. There's a roller behind second taken by Pena, and the bad throw to first allows Barajas to be safe. Aaron Hill scores on the play, make it a 14-5 lead. And everything, it seems, is going right for the Blue Jays. Everything afield going wrong for the Yankees.
Yeah, it looked like, Jamie, that Pena got his spikes caught a little bit right here, right when he's getting ready to throw, right there. And that threw off his timing and his ability to throw the ball in the air to Mark Teixeira. He will be given an error, so all four of the infielders now will get an error. First, second, short, and third now. Four of them for the Yankees, and the 14th run crosses the plate after that error.
And a strike delivered to Vernon Wells. Wells in the air, center field. Cabrera comes over. Johnny Damon. Oh my! Did he make that catch? He hangs on to the ball. Or did he? No, he dropped the ball. Did he hang on to that?
Yes.
He did.
There. Things have not gone well for the Yankees today defensively. Cabrera, this is his ball. Johnny Damon is going to end up with it, but he crashes into the center fielder, holds on to it for the last out of the inning. That is Steve Donahue talking to Melky Cabrera. It looked like Cabrera was the one who got the better of that shot.
Damon hit the turf. He was looking around as if he dropped the ball, but it turns out his glasses went flying. This has been an atypical performance from the New York Yankees today.
Yeah, we've seen some errors, balls falling in, getting into the sun, and then a collision in left field. You add it all up, 14 hits, 14 runs for the Jays.
Brian Wolf goes back to work against Hideki Matsui, the designated hitter. He's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, 2 runs driven in. Against the starter today, Brian Talent, who went 5 innings and is in position for his 6th win of the year. He's got a healthy lead as Brian Wolf in relief. Deals with Matsui, and then Swisher, and then Robinson Cano. This is the Yankees' 7th. The bat is shattered, and that's a fair ball taken by Millar. Matsui's gone.
He has that ability when he runs that cutter in on left-handers. Watch the head of the bat just shatter. And then Swisher's got to get out of the way. Who is the on-deck batter? That one ended up against the backstop.
So here is Swisher as Joe Girardi sits beside Johnny Damon, looking ahead to the doubleheader they'll play tomorrow. He just wants to make sure he gets out of town with everybody healthy
and leaves this bad game behind. Forget all about this one.
Ball 1 to Swisher, and Eric Hinsky has come into the on-deck circle for the Yankees. If you're an opposing player and you've got a game against the Yankees and it's a day game, you're best advised to not make dinner plans.
Yeah.
Don't make a reservation because you just don't know if you're going to make it there in time. As that gets away from Barajas.
And we say that in a good way,
right.
Because only because they don't take anything for granted, and,
yeah.
and they make you earn everything. They are an exceptional hitting team who really work the pitcher, work the count. We were saying it last inning that it's like they wear it like a badge of honor that we will not have a 1-2-3 inning. We will not make life easy for the opposing pitcher. There's another walk.
And this game has been extended by other things: bad pitching, shoddy fielding,
injury.
You know, the Jays scoring 8 times in the 5th inning. So eventually we'll get to Sportsnet Connected with Ivanka Osmak and Barry Davis. The U.S. Open continues. Mike Weir of Brights Grove, Ontario, in contention at the Deutsche Bank. And that's in the, I guess, the 3rd round. I guess they play the final round on Labor Day Monday. As Eric Hinsky is called upon to pinch hit for Robinson Cano, and does so here in the 7th. But yesterday's game, Pat, was a great example. A 9-inning game that finished 6-4 in favor of the Yankees and went 3 hours and 52 minutes. Again, like you say, we're not going to go down easily 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and I think both the teams take that approach.
Encarnacion calls for it and makes the catch, retiring Hitzke.
And if you're going to play this game, you have to play it the right way. Make those pitchers throw strikes and make them earn those outs.
Here comes Jerry Hairston Jr. again. He's walked twice and grounded out once. Another nice crowd here today, 30,873 is the announced paid attendance on a sun-drenched afternoon in Toronto, with the home side leading by 9, 14-5 in favor of the Blue Jays. They've got Brian Wolf on in relief of Brian Talent. Talent with a chance at the victory here today, goes 5 innings. Two balls and a strike. Wolf deals. It's grounded to the right side and gets through for a base hit.
Hit number 11 on the afternoon. They've scored 5 runs. They've also left 8 runners on base at New York. So there's that. Keep going after them. Don't give away at bats. Something that we've seen from the Yankees for years and years. And I'm going to credit Derek Jeter for that. I have never seen him give away an at bat. He is now out of the ball game, but does not go up in the clubhouse to finish it out. He's going to stay right with his mates, right on the bench. That's a leader right there, Jamie.
We talked about this yesterday. That's the sign that used to hang in the tunnel upon the entrance, above the entrance that goes down into the Yankee dugout. It's a Joe DiMaggio quote. I want to thank the good Lord for making me a Yankee. And that was the item that Derek Jeter took when they finally played their last game at Yankee Stadium, and had said for some time he wasn't going to tell anybody what he was stealing. And frankly, I don't think it's stealing if you're Derek Jeter, and that's a piece of memorabilia that you'd like to have in your home.
Where did we get that picture? That's pretty impressive, guys. Did they go to Derek Jeter's house and snap that picture?
Well, our producer Jeff Mather dug it up somewhere.
Just off the plate.
Because pretty well everything from the old Yankee Stadium is for sale. If you'd like a seat, I'm sure there are still some to be found. Two balls and 2 strikes on Cabrera, and it's laced foul. I heard that Reggie Jackson bought the gigantic letters on the facade that read Yankee Stadium.
Really?
The ones that light up at night?
Yeah.
I heard he bought them, and he's going to put them somewhere and put them on display.
What, in the front yard?
In a mall? I don't know. Two and two. Oh my, airmail. And it comes right back to Barajas and now skips away from him. So both runners advance.
Bob Davidson and Rob Barajas could have a little chuckle there as Davidson was boxing him out, and the rebound on that ball.
Barajas goes out to Wolf and says, keep it down next time, will you?
He had thoughts of maybe picking it up and trying to get one of the base runners, but you could see Bob Davidson, nothing you can do about that. He runs right into him. That was a good screen set if you were a basketball player.
Here's the 3-2, and it's whacked high and deep to right field, and this ball is not coming back. A home run for Melky Cabrera.
Number 12 on the year for Cabrera. So he has shaken off the effects of that collision to end the last inning. And with 2 outs and 2 strikes, they do not lay down. He comes up with a home run. It looked like a breaking ball from Brian Wolf. Just floats over the middle of the plate, and it speeds up the bat of Cabrera, and he hits it into the second deck for his 12th home run.
And it ends Wolf's day. That blast sends Wolf to the dugout and brings Brandon League out of the bullpen. So the Jays make a pitching change and will return on Rogers Sportsnet. Suns have closed the lead. It's now 14-8 in favor of Brandon League's Blue Jays. He takes over for Brian Wolf.
You know, when you saw the numbers for Brandon League there, you just throw those numbers out when he faces the Yankees. Something inside him just kind of takes it up to the next level. He has been great against New York.
He jams Molina, who pops it up. Here comes Encarnacion, and a late arrival, too. League has to make the catch himself.
You are usually the traffic cop when those pop-ups go, but that one's in the middle of the diamond. He acts like a traffic cop for a while, but then he realizes that no one's going to get that humpback liner, and he's going to make it himself. One pitch, he's out of the inning. Let's head to the 8th.
Win prizes with the Burger King Superfan contest. It is the middle of the 7th inning, and this has been a doozy. 14-8 in favor of the Blue Jays.
Lots of offense this afternoon. Aaron Hill leading the way with a couple of doubles and 3 RBIs.
And all kinds of changes right now defensively for the New York Yankees. And here are some of them as Encarnacion swings and misses.
Eric Hinsky, who came in and pinch hit for Cano, will move to third and just shift everybody around the infield. Hairston moves from third to short. Pena moves from short to second. Benji Molina. Jose Molina will flip-flop and take Teixeira out of the game at first. And the new player, Francisco Cervelli, takes over as the new catcher.
There's strike 3. Down goes Encarnacion. And there's Randy Ruiz. What a heartwarming sight that is as he recovers from being hit by a Josh Towers pitch. It appeared flush on the left cheek. And he's got a bit of a fat lip, noticeably, but you know the great news is he's not in a hospital room right now. There's Kevin Millar making his first appearance at the plate. Now this is the bottom of the 7th inning. And though the Blue Jays are leading by 6, and Millar sends it to center field, there is Cabrera. We have to remember here, Pat, that the Yankees have a secret weapon on their bench.
A couple of secret weapons.
2 of them, in fact, yes.
Yeah, A-Rod is sitting over there, and as is Jorge Posada, who's having a great season also. Those are the last 2 players on the bench for Joe Girardi.
So as much as it seems to be a comfortable 14-8 lead for the Blue Jays, a bloop, a bleeder, and a blast, and the next thing you know, things aren't so comfortable as Travis Snyder stands in against Josh Towers. Snyder drove in a run with a base hit to right field in that 8-run 5th. And he hits this one in the air, sky high. Hairston Jr., the shortstop, gives way as Cabrera comes in. And Josh Towers gets a quick 7th. After 7, the Blue Jays are on top 14-8. And it goes to a good cause. The proceeds benefit the Blue Jays Care Foundation. Who knows? You might find one of Pat Tabler's old suits. I mean, we should make a contribution to that garage sale. As Ramiro Pena is the batter, he leads off the 8th inning here in Toronto, substituting in for Derek Jeter, and now actually playing second base. Pena's so darn young, he looks like a bat boy. And it was Pena who picked up the only base hit against Roy Halladay on Friday night when Halladay twirled that one-hit complete game gem.
An 0-1 breaking ball from Halladay that Pena hit in the right field corner.
And a pitch that Halladay said after the game when he was interviewed by Sam Cosentino that he would have thrown again in the same circumstance.
Sure. Maybe get it down and in a little bit more. But we'll excuse him for making one mistake.
It really illustrates, Pat, just how difficult it is to throw a no-hitter in the big leagues. Everything has to go your way.
I'll take it one step further. How about throwing a perfect game?
Yeah, sure. They appeal, and that's a strike. Down goes Pena. Tim Tashida calls him out. And all he can do is grin and walk off.
14-8. Check swing is going to be a strikeout. We were talking about how dominant Brandon League has been against the Yankees, and maybe a secret weapon here or there. Coming into this game here, his last 8 appearances against New York, covering 9 2/3 innings. No runs, 6 hits, 12 strikeouts. He hasn't given up a run to the Yankees in 2 years. I mean, that's how dominant he has been against New York.
And we gets a ground ball there, Encarnacion. And a nice play on the bag by Millar.
We were talking off air about, a bloop here, a blast there, they can get right back into it. I think Cito Gaston felt the same thing when Brian Wolf gave up that home run to make it 14-8. I'm thinking he's thinking, I don't even want to give them a chance to think that they're in this ball game. I'm going to play my guy right now. And as soon as that ball left the ballpark, Cito was out, brought in Brandon League, and brought in a secret weapon against the Yankees.
And he has paid off so far. A 1-pitch out to get the catcher Jose Molina to end the top of the 7th. And now a strikeout of Pena, the ground ball that gets Damon. He's retired 3. And here is Cervelli, who grounds that ball to short. Scutero goes a long way and gets him. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Off to the bottom of the 8th as you're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. As the San Diego Padres at Dodger Stadium, Tim Stauffer against Hiroki Kuroda. And the Los Angeles Angels the Dodgers have managed to build themselves a 4.5 game lead on the surprising Colorado Rockies. The Rockies are the wild card leaders right now in the National League by a game over San Francisco. But what a surprising year for Colorado, a team that started slowly.
Make a change in the managers?
Well, yeah, that paid off. It's a long, long season. Blue Jay fans know that. They were a first-place team back on the 17th of May by 3.5 games. As Joe Inglet hits the first pitch from Towers into center field. And that was the high water mark of this year for Toronto after they'd swept the Chicago White Sox in a 4-game series here, went on the road for 9. Held a 3.5 game lead on the division and promptly lost all 9 games on the road trip. And the wheels really started to fall off right about that time. There's Marcos Scutaro, who's reached twice, once on an error, once on a single. He has scored twice, struck out twice, and comes to the plate for the 6th time
in 8 innings. We're rooting for Joe Inglet there to get a base hit. 3 hits today. He has had 1 4-hit game in his big league career. That came last year against the New York Yankees. And Marco Scutaro fashions a multi-hit afternoon with his 2nd hit.
On the day Josh Towers returns to the major leagues for the first time since he finished the year with the Blue Jays in 2007. A day the Yankees will surely want to forget. They'll have to treat this one like those flyers you get in the mail. You just put them in the garbage without paying any attention. And
Turn
it's
the
on
page.
to the next game.
Turn the page, as they say in baseball.
Towers wearing number 12 for the Yankees. When he was with the Jays, he was number 7, and you just don't see many pitchers wear single digits. As Hill pops it up. Here's Pena. And Hill is the 2nd out. Well, we've seen all this offense from the Blue Jays today, Pat. 14 runs on 15 hits, and guess who's hitless in the game? The guy coming to the plate right now.
The only 300 hitter. Still over 300. He came into this game as the Blue Jays' only 300 hitter in the starting lineup. You gotta join the hit parade. It's a bad feeling when you seems like you're up every inning also.
It's a good count. 2-0. Now 3-0.
You don't want to walk if you're Adelman. You want to be able to swing the bat.
And he takes for strike 1. Two gone in the 8th, man at first. A 3-1 pitch from Towers is grounded to first. There's Molina. There's the out, and Lind remains hitless. The Blue Jays are rolling all over the Yankees right now. It's 14-8 as we head for the 9th inning. In Toronto, we say thank you for spending part of your day with us as the Blue Jays lead the Yankees 14-8. We hit the ninth inning. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. We'll be on the air tomorrow afternoon as the Blue Jays open a series with the Minnesota Twins. Join us then at 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Sean Camp is the new hurler for the Blue Jays.
Good numbers all the way around for Camp, except for the one-loss record. He's been the victim of a couple of walk-off wins by the opposition. 48th game that he has gotten into. His ERA is very good at 3.6, and first pitch swinging is Matsui, and he will be the first out. Camp has at times had good sliders and good changeups, that good bending breaking ball. Good strikeout ratio, batters average against. All the numbers look good except for the one-loss record of 1-6. He has pitched better than that record will indicate. You know, you come out of the bullpen in a tie game late and you give up one run and you end up with that loss. So those walk-off losses, those hurt.
Nick Swisher stands in. He has gone 2 for 3 today with a double, a home run, and takes a strike from Camp. The look of this game changed a little bit when Swisher hit his 2-run shot in the 5th to give the Yankees a 1-run lead. And Brian Talent, after that inning, had gone 5 and trailed at that time 5-4, but the Blue Jays exploded for 8 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And so Talent now is 2 outs away from earning his 6th win of the year.
Their biggest inning of the season. They had 7 runs in the 9th inning down in Texas at the beginning of this week.
Yeah, that 7-run 9th in Texas really turned that game into a blowout at a time when the Rangers had closed to within 11-10. They almost raised an 11-0 lead.
And they came a Vernon Wells catch in center field from falling behind.
Yes. The Twins will come in here tomorrow on a losing note. They dropped a 3-1 match to the Cleveland Indians today. Swisher to left field. And a nice basket catch by Travis Snyder.
A little bit more comfortable in left field. Does Travis Snyder look than he does in right field. It ball slicing to his glove side, and he makes that what you call a basket catch for the 2nd out. That might be his position, left field, as opposed to right field. Only because he's a left-handed thrower. And that glove is on the side of the ball where it's going to slice and pull.
Base hit for Hinsky, and he prolongs this ball game. The matchup for tomorrow's game has right-handed pitcher Jeff Manship up against Scott Richmond. Richmond is 6-8 on the year with a 4.53 ERA, so they'll go at it tomorrow afternoon. Labor Day Monday. You'll see it here on Rogers Sportsnet. Jerry Hairston Jr. has played the entire game, starting at third base. And he lines to left field. Snyder makes the catch. The game comes to an end. And the Blue Jays wallop the Yankees 14-8. Ryan Talbot picking up his win. And here's the best sight all day. Randy Ruiz feeling pretty good about himself as he comes out to greet teammates.